And with Jordan's story. I'm going to skip to number 3, personal stories there. And they aren't just your personal stories. If you notice in both of these case studies, you let your community tell stories as well. You seed them, and you can start to nurture the community as the Canada for Haiti website, that was what was done as well. But you can seed them, but then you've got to let people have a voice and communicate. And just by virtue of hitting the like button on someone's Facebook wall, that of course, as you know, sends it out to everyone's friends. That's an incredibly powerful tool, and giving people the voice, again, is a basic communication tool, if you will, which allows them to further spread the word. I think, let's go back to point number 1 here. Honesty, again, it's basic in good communication strategy, and it's okay to show the warts, if you will, as well as the good things, because not everything is bright and shiny when you start it off. And I think Jordan's personal story of the 3 grandparents and the videos, I watched the videos of his mom and his aunt about their father. They were hard to watch, but they were very, very powerful. And I think the honesty in talking about the loss, in this case, of a loved one while they're still there physically but not mentally, was very powerful. Nurturing the community from a communication standpoint means you make sure you are constant in your communication and that you are going back to people. And it doesn't have to be with long stories. It can be little updates. It can be a thank you. It can be as simple as a thank you. It could be a CEO, for example, of a company that is benefiting from online fundraising, doing a 60-second message. Thank you very much. And then allowing people to respond to that. So it is making sure that a lot of people get to the point of launching something and then, going away, phew, it's done. No, the work begins at that point. So that's the nurturing the community. We talked about the personal stories and the wisdom of friends. This is where the social media is so brilliant, because it's not you telling them, it's not you saying what's in it for me, which no one wants to hear anyway as the organization. It's why your friends care. And so that is, whether we see it on Alzheimer's, whether we see it with animals, whether we see it when the tsunami happened in 2004, or the Canada for Haiti. And I was fascinated to see the difference and how fast things happened in between December 26, 2004, when the tsunami hit, and January 12th, 2010, when the Haiti disaster happened, and what social media has meant, and those conversations have meant in terms of donations and aid so quickly. Continue the conversation after the cause. Again, can't stress that enough. And it's hard when you're doing online fundraising, because you very often are centered around a particular moment, day, event. But the thing is, and I think Misty referred to this, and your Bear Cub program, and how all of a sudden that became a program unto itself, and how your program manager is going to nurture that community, gets ideas from that community, and now has a database in terms of being able to go back to that community, not necessarily asking them for money right away, but keeping the conversation alive and letting the passion as well drive a lot of the conversation. That's incredibly useful. I came across some other interesting factoids, and anyone who has different facts can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought, just again in terms of social media conversations, Nielsen did a study last year about this time, and I just thought this was so fantastic from a communication standpoint, that social media has now surpassed, people are spending more time on social networks than on email. So February 2009, this was a Nielsen study. This is just how I'm going to end, just to underscore again the power of social media. And so the top 10 countries listed, Canada was not in the top 10, which I found surprising. Now this study's a year ago, so it might have changed in the year. But the number 1 country was Australia. And so the average number of hours per month per user is the metric that we're looking at here, was 7. Britain was next, about 6.2, Italy 6.1, and then Japan rounded out the top 10 at 3.8. So the point here is that if people are now spending more time on social media than on regular email, certainly email should remain a part of your communication strategy, absolutely, but just the power of the social media and letting the conversation go by you seeding it, nurturing it, carrying on the conversation afterwards through honesty and authenticity is sure going to get you a long way to your goal. Thanks.